Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tavern. Is golf getting too expensive? We tee it up with Evolve Golf. And is Scottie the new Tiger? Let's get into it. All right. The three amigos are back together. I muted you both. You're all back in.
Dude, I've been gone for a week. You can mute me all day. I don't think people are going to care.
They'll care. They want to hear what you have to say. They missed odds with Dave last week. We couldn't hold our own with that one. That's all you. You're our expert in that area.
Somebody's got to make fun of Steve in a live format that just doesn't come from the comments.
We had another Dave do that last week in our guest.
I watched, yes.
Yeah. We replaced you with another Dave. So if you're not here, our guest name has to be Dave. But
there's only so much Dave to go around.
But glad to have you back.
Yep.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Wow.
So
all right, well,
but yeah, no, it was a good time, good vacation, but internet connection, Bradley, in Mexico was not great.
Greg is freezing.
No, I'm not freezing. You're freezing. You're the one freezing. Dave and I are both fine. Yeah, it's all you, man.
Brad, who's freezing?
You have to ask the fans who's freezing when Dave and I are both here watching this. You're the only one freezing. So, all right. Well, I think we just go right into it, you guys.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you've wanted to talk this for a while. I've wanted to talk this for a while. It's a hot topic, but we've had so much other stuff going on tour with the world of golf. But golf itself as a game, is it getting too expensive? What do you think, Dave?
So this started because of a TikTok that we did that's now got 500,000 views already.
Wow, I sound really different.
I mean, let's talk about where this topic came from before we go into the topic. Like, where did this topic start? It started with a TikTok that has gone viral on our TikTok page. That somebody was commenting about playing Whistling Straits for $728 or whatever they're charging at Whistling Straits before caddy fees. So, like golf, or so Dave, go down that road. So at least tell the backstory of where this started from.
That you just did. So,
so
Dave, do you think golf is getting too expensive?
I think there's a point price for everybody, where it falls, and it just depends. I think you and I, or especially me in Iowa, I'm in a different price point for a lot of the golf that I could play around here. I'm still playing a muni course. I think for me, the course prices, I go the next town over and I'm going to pay a little bit more. Or I go up towards Cedar Rapids and it's going to be a little bit higher. We're talking like $200 a round up at the casino up there. But, I think for the most part, it depends on what type of golf course you're looking to play, where you live. When the three of us lived in Orlando, that was a completely different price point from where you and I are now. Golf could be very simple. You don't always have to have the newest equipment out there. You could, clubs and balls, you can find used balls. You don't always have to play Pro V1s. So it's a matter of, where you want your price point to be. But, for somebody that's going to go out and play 2 or 3 days a week, or even, like me, if I'm going to get out on the 9-hole course, once a week and walk a couple, I'm going to lose quite a few balls, out there. But for me, unless I'm playing in a tournament, with you guys, I don't care about what I pick up a ball in the woods and it's just going to go in the water just the same.
So let's break this down, Dave, into two different categories. So let's break this down into equipment as one category and a round of golf as another category. So what you're saying here is if we start with a round of golf, like how much it is to play a round of golf, where you live, you're saying it's reasonable in price.
I could play nice courses in a reasonable price. Yes.
Okay. And Steve, what are you seeing in that factor of playing golf for an average golfer to go out and play golf? What are you seeing?
It's Orlando. I can tell you, I was at Disney yesterday. I played Disney yesterday. Now, granted, it's Disney, but they're getting $200 a round in the morning right now. The cheap golf courses around here this time of year, and again, this is spring break week. This is the peak of in season, as we know it that live down here. The cheap golf courses down here are $100 to play, and that's what they're getting. It is what it is, and I think the challenge that I see is when you talk about Dubs Dread's getting $90 to play Dubs Dread, the Muni.
Yeah. What's Highlands getting?
Highlands.
Yeah, that.
Are you
Steve
ready?
Told me this a while back. Yeah.
$95 to play Highlands Reserve.
So I did a little.
Like, are they giving you a box of Cubans when you go out there and play too? Or
I was just going to ask Dave if he was speechless at that price. I'll take this Orange County National right now, a golf course that it's a great golf course. We all know that. Florida resident rate's $140.
Now, here's the thing, and for the three of us that have worked in the theme park industry, as coming out of COVID and kind of everybody got the golfing bug because you could be out there and you could do it and you could be by yourself. And I think that trend has continued with people that still want to play. It's a supply and demand issue. Keep raising the prices until you find that upper level price that nobody wants to pay anymore. And then, hey, just like theme park tickets, let's back it down just a little bit. And, then we're to find our happy medium. But all of us have played a 6-hour round on a $200 course, and it sucks.
Yeah, they're not backing
Dave,
down.
where are you?
I got that, yeah.
When was the last time Disney came off their theme park prices?
Never.
Never.
Because people keep going.
I want to highlight this. I want to highlight
people
this
keep
comment.
going. Yeah.
But Brad, here's the problem right now is that here in Florida, these $30 to $40 courses don't exist. They don't.
This is what I was going to get into, Steve, and this is the research that I did. I went back and I remember when I was in high school, I played a course. It was a 9-hole course, and they had junior rates. They had cheap rates for this course. And I went and looked at what their rates were, thinking like, oh, is it going to be astronomical? And I grew up in New Jersey, and New Jersey's has very well off. A lot of great golf courses that are in the country are in New Jersey. And so I thought, okay, with the boom of golf, it's got to go up. Prices went up, I think, $3 in 24 years. It's still $18 for a junior to play, $22 to walk 9 holes. And so I started looking more into this. So I looked at 18-hole courses around there, and I looked at one that Kemper Golf runs there. That's the Muni course out there, and it was residents are $53, non-residents are $70. And I went down this rabbit hole, and I came to the conclusion that local courses, there are good local courses that you can get that good $30 to $40, $50 price range. It's resort courses that are becoming the problem. They're becoming too expensive, and I think they're becoming too expensive.
I don't know that it's.
Well, hold on. So I think they're coming too expensive because everyone's getting into golf. So now, if we just played golf and the rest of our friends didn't, it was the three of us playing golf. But now, if you're getting more people, there's more guys trips, there's more group trips, there's more there. So I think those resort areas, like where you live, Steve, they're getting that price because they're getting that traffic. People are traveling again. And that's where the prices are going astronomical. So for those like signature courses that are the bucket list courses, those are getting way too expensive.
Do you know what Stream Song is getting right now? Regular round, afternoon walking.
Afternoon walking at Stream Song, I'd probably say $195.
$250.
Strike one, strike two, $450, Alex.
And so here's the funny part about that. Kemper Golf, who runs this course that I'm talking about, also runs Stream Song and Brandon Dunes. So it's that
Brandon
once again.
Brandon or Bandon?
Yeah, I know. Bandon Dunes. So once again, it's that resort course. And that's what people look at, and that's what we gauge this stuff on. So
now, don't get me wrong. Stream Song's the best facility in the area. I won't ever question that. But the problem
hold on. In the area, like the whole Florida area, so you're putting Cabot Citrus, you're putting Bay Hill, you're putting.
I haven't been to Cabot Citrus, but Cabot Citrus also isn't completely open yet.
And Stream Song's also in the middle of nowhere, so it's
but when you look at what is in Central Florida, yes, I would say that Stream Song. Until I get up to Cabot, again, Cabot is on that. We need to get up there and go.
Yeah.
But I think the problem that you have is when you look at the overall cost of golf. If you were to go out today and buy a brand new set of golf clubs, off the rack, no upgrades, bag included, before you go down and buy golf balls, it's $3,000. Cost of a driver is $599.
Hold on. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I have the website up right here. I got a driver. I got a brand new 3-wood. I got a hybrid, a set of irons, 3 wedges, a putter, a bag, golf balls. Guess my total price.
$750.
Nope. That I think would be reasonable. So I agree with you, Steve. It is too expensive. $1,248.
Right.
Yeah.
And I bought the cheapest stuff I could find on Dick's Sporting Goods.
Now I went down the road of Ping 430 10K. Any of the new, and I was looking at new 2024 equipment only is what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at 2024 equipment. So any new 3-wood is at $349. Irons, and I went middle of the road irons because the Titleist irons and the Mizuno irons are like $14.99. I went $9.99 on a set of irons because you can get a good set of irons for that. I went with the Jailbird putter, also known as the Lip Out City putter from this past weekend. And I did 150. I actually used Wedge FX wedge pricing because I thought set of custom wedges at $150 a piece for 3 of them, and a bag for $250. And now you have to look at, oh wait, Pro V1s went up from $49.99 to $55 now. They went up $5 for the Pro V1s. Every golf ball is following suit. I just feel like and I'm going to say this because I wear these gloves too. Even Costco went up $2 on their 4-pack of gloves.
That's good gloves.
They are good gloves. But, I think that when you look at the cost of golf and the cost of just trying to get involved, and if you go out and listen to the marketing machine from TaylorMade, because again, we've said that on this show, they're a marketing company. They're not a golf club brand manufacturer. You need to upgrade because this new driver is going to give you this or that or everything else that they're saying that you need. When you look at all of what everyone is saying, so if you're going out and buying new every year, you're all in cost before you start doing shaft upgrades or any of that craziness. You're in at $3,000. And I think the problem that I have is when you look at in years past, and you guys lived here, in years past, you would see in the summertime rates go down, especially for Florida residents and people that lived in the area for golf.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the middle of July.
Yeah, nobody wants to play. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the middle of the July last summer was $100.
Yeah.
And you're not like, I think the challenge that I have with it is golf has outpaced what is inflation. Golf would outpace what is going on in the economy today and what people are making every month. And when you look at, okay, how much the average cost, and the average person makes like $50 something grand a year on a salary. When you break that down weekly, it's like 3 weeks check just to pay for new golf equipment. Like, people can't afford what they're doing right now for golf. And I mean, there's been the running joke on TikTok of I ordered a new engagement. I ordered an engagement ring for my wife, and a box of golf clubs shows up.
But the same
It
price.
sounds like something.
Yeah.
And it's about the same price.
Well, and that's the thing right now is what you're talking about, Steve, with these clubs is you're going more if I'm buying the top of the line stuff, and I went with the cheapest new stuff, and it was still almost $1,300.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like, so the equipment is getting, I believe, out of hand. I think if I was getting into this game today, and I kind of did this, my dad did this. I got a set of used clubs to start out. I think that's the route most people should go down if you're trying to get into the game. Go that route, get the used route, and go play your local muni courses. Not if you live in a resort area, because, like I said, I think the resort areas are charging way too much right now, because I'd rather play at home, and there needs to be more financial options. Like,
I think this,
Matt, I can't disagree with you, Matt, on that. That's a great point right there.
I'm going to hit my old driver and my new driver into the woods just the same. And you guys
might hit the new one
too.
You might hit the new one 5 yards.
The new one a little bit farther, into the woods. But Greg's right. People forget about kind of the used club market that's out there, because it's not what everybody on TV is playing right now. But if you're going to get into the game, and I got used clubs in my bag. I took them from your garage, Steve.
It's true. But here's the other thing, though. You walk into the PGA Tour Superstore, because I mean, Golfsmith used to be the place to go for used golf equipment. We all know that.
Yeah.
And when you look at what has become of the used golf market because of eBay and places like that, if you walk into PGA Tour Superstore to buy something used, I mean, I saw used drivers like $20 off the new driver price. And that's all
because
they're getting
PGA Superstore, you take your clubs there to sell them. It's like going to GameStop. Well, I'll give you $2 for this, Legend of Zelda game that came out last week, and they're going to turn around and sell it for $50.
They'll give you actually a better deal. There's a whole pricing market. I do a lot of used clubs buying and selling, and there's good stuff that's out there, but you don't want to buy the newest stuff. You want to buy 2 years ago. Now you'll get that for a better price. So if you're buying the TaylorMade from 2 years ago, you'll get a better price for it than you will from last year's Stealth 2. So there's things you can do. Goodwill, there's good stuff you can buy at that. If you know where to look, there's some great golf channels out there, like Stacked Golf. If you watch them on YouTube, they go around and buy this stuff, and they'll teach you about the clubs. It's great. And you can buy clubs for the right price, but you'll also go to these. I love going to the PGA Tour Superstore, looking at used clubs and finding the right deals and finding a deal. It's that hunt for the right price. And I'll look at clubs and be like, it's not worth what they're charging. And then I'll look at clubs and be like, this is worth more than they're charging for it. You just got to know what to look for. And that's the problem, is when you go to a place, they're going to sell you and try to sell you on the newest stuff, the newest thing that's out there, because that's their job. But the new stuff is is overpriced. There are some good brands out there that are coming into the market that are trying to counteract this a little bit. But if you're just living in an area and you're not going to buy stuff retail, and you want to go in and go to your local Dick's Sporting Goods that's everywhere, $1,200 is what you're paying.
Yep. And when you look at what is that for the average American, that's 1 week's worth of pay. That's what it comes down to. You've worked 40 hours in a week, and that's what you're getting, and that's what you're paying for a set of golf clubs. Now, a few years ago, my Golf Spy did a thing on the cost of a putter, and with a steel shaft, a putter costs about $19 to make, somewhere between $19 and $25 to make a putter. And so when you look at the markup on these things, and yes, I understand there's the cost of the putter, but then there's also the cost that these companies have to pay employees, they have to pay the tour sponsors that they have and everything else, and pay for fuel for the tour trucks and all that other stuff. But and so some of that cost has to be absorbed there. And I also understand that golf courses, fertilizer and everything else to make a golf course look good is literally, those prices have gone up, exponentially as well. But I feel like when you look at what is being done, all of these people are now just answering to, we need to make as much money as we possibly can. And the other problem is that when you look at, I said Disney was getting $200 for a round of golf yesterday morning. Tee sheet was booked. People are paying it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So, I mean, until and the problem is it's like a ticket at Fenway Park. You can sit there and complain about the Red Sox and the product they're putting on the field, and as a Red Sox fan not go, somebody's still going to buy that ticket and sit in that seat. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to miss you. They're not.
No, but there are ways you can find and play golf for a reasonable price, but it's those dream things. I feel like the top of the line stuff, I think, is getting out of hand. That's just my. I don't think you should ever pay $600 for a round of golf. I'm sorry, I don't.
Here's the next question that has to be answered though, and none of us can look into a crystal ball on this. PGA Tour tickets are already at least $100 a day for PGA tickets. If they sign this deal and need to become more of a getting away from the non-for-profit idea and becoming a for-profit entity, and they have investors to pay back, what is going to happen to PGA Tour tickets?
I mean, look at all the other professional sports out there and what tickets cost.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean,
so it's
right.
I'm surprised the PGA. If people think PGA tickets are too expensive, I am shocked, because what people pay to go for a 4-hour event versus like what you can get a 4-day event for.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a little bit more there. Now, it's a different product and what's there, but you get to walk around, you're outside, it's a fun event. So
right.
I can see it going up. I'm hoping it doesn't go crazy though. I'm hoping it doesn't go the way of the driver, because the prices of drivers have gone way too fast. Like, they need to pump the brakes on drivers.
Right. Hey, I do want to point out one comment really quick before we move on into happy hour. Hey, thanks, Orlando Golfer. We think so also.
Yeah,
we do love us some American Fit. So
American Fit
for that.
Oh,
American
so comfortable.
Fit. Right.
Yeah. So comfortable.
Right.
All right.
Hey, before we move on, do you realize what happened a year ago yesterday? What came in the mail for me?
Oh, your stealth?
No. What other great thing did we do?
No, it was Masters tickets.
Yes.
This right here?
Yes. And the only reason I know that was it popped up on my history also. And I saw the envelope.
That little envelope showed up in the mail a year ago yesterday.
Nice. What an experience. All right,
let's get to happy hour.
I want to be here, right?
Okay.
I am really excited about tonight. Going back to my competitive playing days, I switched to these golf tees and haven't looked back since then. And speaking of the Masters,
playing days or week?
Day. Competitive day.
And last year's we talked about the Masters. They had a really cool Masters run that they did of tees. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But let's welcome Ben Malloy from Evolve Golf. Ben, how are you this evening?
Just doing.
There he is.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having
me. Greg, I'll let you kick it off here.
So, Ben, first of all, welcome to the Tavern. Can you tell us a little bit about Evolve Golf and the backstory?
Backstory. So I hit a bad shot and blamed a golf tee. I mean, it's a longer story than that, but yeah, I mean, it's the crux of it. I mean, I was just your average muni golfer chasing the mowers every morning. Bit of a tech nerd, was helping a small startup raise some venture capital funds, and was playing some golf, and just a bunch of things happened over a period of about a year. So I hit this bad shot. Ball went left. Left was usually not an issue with my game, and this was kind of a weird spin. Picked up the golf tee and I looked, and in the cup, there was like this stick almost coming out of the center of it. And I later learned that it just hadn't been milled all the way down to create the cup. So it created this kind of odd spin going off. And so I just chucked it off my playing partner's chest, joking. I was like, somebody should make a better golf tee kind of a thing. And then just left that. Like it was a joke. And like 6 months later, I'm at this VC pitch, kind of one of those, almost like a Shark Tank type deal. And this guy gets up and he starts talking about taking switchgrass and then fermenting it, and it's going to turn it into this biopolymer. And I'm like, bio what? And we're going to basically go from plants to plastics, and these plastics are going to be compostable. You got to understand, this was 2002. So this was some crazy talk, and put that away, right? And about 6 months later, I'm changing spikes out in my garage, and it hit me like just this idea for a biodegradable golf tee, and that was it. I mean, I was hooked. I sent an email off to, I think it was Dick Ruggie at the USGA, and I said, "So what are the rules on conformity for a golf tee? Because I've got an idea." He was great. Came back with a couple emails. We went back and forth and started designing a tee, working on the compostable resin, building a prototype, putting my savings, my wife's sanity, all on the line. And, about another year later, so it's a 2-year journey, we ended up with a compostable performance golf tee. Introduced it on tour before we ever said a boo. Reached out to agents and players, told them if they felt the tee worked, we weren't going to endorse players. We just, we'd provide them. And from there, it got really interesting. A lot of players adopted it, and it wasn't some crazy story. I mean, we basically gave, at about 115 mile an hour ball speed, it was just under a half a mile an hour, ball speed faster, a little bit of a lower RPM. So we're talking a couple yards longer and a couple yards straighter. I mean, you were talking about hitting one into the woods, Steve. Like, this would get you there more accurately and a little bit deeper into the trees for sure, and we launched the product in 2004, and here we are today. Yeah, it's been a crazy journey.
So it's not the best shot, and thanks to our friends at Wedge FX for these tees that I have laying around here. But this one, it's a full cup, and I think I know what you mean. It's that little dimple kind of right in the middle of the tee.
Only this one was even higher.
That's what I'm playing my whole golf game on right now when I'm not playing your tees and I'm just playing something that I pick up. Yes, Steve, go ahead. Roll your eyes at me a little bit more.
Ben, like I said, I've been playing them for quite a few years now. And I found that they made me a more consistent golfer, except when I played tournament golf. And that's a whole nother story. That was the 6 inches between my ears. And we'll just go into that. Dave, no comments. And it got to be a joke. It got to be a joke in my house every year that my wife would buy me a new package for Christmas of your tees, and it would be a stocking stuffer every year. But from a consistency standpoint, in the efficacy, can you talk about the design do that? A couple extra yards, couple extra straighter, straighter shot dispersion. Can you talk about that?
Yep. So the concept was really simple. I wanted to span the width of a dimple, right? I wanted to get the ball as high as I could out of the cup, right? That was the first thing I was thinking about. Like, how do you do this short of hovering, the golf ball? So the second thing we did was we wanted to create a bearing-like surface. So not only do we span the width of the dimple with the post, we rolled the radius. And so, for anybody out there that has an Epoch golf tee, if you put the tee on the ball and you start spinning it, it feels really slippery, for lack of a better word, right? And if you look at where it's actually touching the golf ball, it's just in between the dimples, and it's only on the ridge of the radius. So you're creating a really deep environment underneath it. So, moment of impact ball, everybody's seen the slow motion at this point where the ball's compressing on the club face, right? So you've got that downward pressure on the tee, and then you have that forward pressure at the same time. So again, it's just a little bit of a lower spin rate, and it's compared to a wood tee, right? So long story short, again, when we first submitted our test data to the USGA, we came back non-conformed. And we were super surprised by this. They were like, well, it can't you can't improve performance, right? And we said, well, we didn't. And there's this back and forth. And so, what do you mean? I said, well, we don't improve performance. We're basically just the wood tee's taking away. We're just allowing the ball and the driver and the swing speed to do the intended swing plane and what's going on with the ball and impact. So, and again, I used the same analogy back then. It's if you're in the woods where they're longer and straighter, we're not adding performance. We're giving it back essentially. So again, there was never this huge over promise. And thankfully 3 weeks later, we got our conformity and we were able to go to market. So that was kind of scary. Actually, there was a lot on the line at that point, but yeah, does that answer the question? I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to ever overpromise with the Epoch's performances. There's a lot of tees that come on where we're 10 yards more, we're 4 yards more, whatever it might be, and I laugh because it's a function of swing speed, angle of attack. There's a lot involved, and I'll tell golfers the first thing you should do is go find your local PGA professional, get a lesson. That's going to have the biggest impact. But Steve, to the point, like consistency is huge, right? Teeing up to the consistent tee height's another thing that's it's been real big for us, and the sweet spot system, something we came up with where we can match your specific driver to a custom tee height. Now we're working on something really unique in the Skunkworks lab, if you will, where we want to match up your specific swing plane to tee height. So, some interesting things in the works.
Yeah, no, because you're talking to three of us here, and we all have 3 different swing speeds and 3 different planes, and I may have 3 different swing speeds and planes on the same swing. So,
absolutely,
that's true.
Same here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but one of the cool things that, we like about the tees on the show is that, the customization, of them. Can you talk about the custom process and how easy that is to do, not only for a golf club, but for a business or for someone looking to buy a custom gift for that someone special in their life?
Yeah. I mean, this has been a huge part of Evolve Golf from day one. It's the fun part. We love this. It's turning ideas into unique experiences, right? I mean, a lot of our business is selling to green grass, right? So we're doing custom tees for high-end resorts, but also, municipals as well, right? I mean, it's the full spectrum. And so it's often a lot of fun to have somebody come to us with either a picture or just a general concept and to throw it to our team and see where they go with. We had a military base reach out to us, and at first it was okay, we'll do the stars and stripes, and I was just walking by and I was like, well, that's a naval base. Why don't we do the F-14 Tomcat and the Cup and the oh yeah baby on the side? Let's do the F-18 Hornets, and let's maybe do some throwbacks to like P-51s and do gray tees like the Battleship Gray, and let's have some fun with it. And that's what we get into, is trying to create those unique looks, those unique experiences. Because at the end of the day, it's just a golf tee, right? But it's a fun part of the game, right? You guys were talking about the cost of golf, and I agree. I'm on my 3rd set of MX-23s, despite everybody picking on me for it. But I get that part of it, and I'm in the industry, right? And so we try to create something that's fun.
Nice. I mean, and you don't just make the Epoch tees; you also make wooden tees.
Yep.
And you have your Project Goodwood tees. So, can you talk a little bit more? Tell us a little bit more about that and the cause.
Yeah. So it's wood tees that plant trees. Simple, right? The idea being that we're doing social give back for every sale, right? So we've planted almost 40,000 trees to date with the Arbor Day Foundation. We try to dedicate it to projects, in areas that are hard hit by hurricanes, where watersheds are impacted or wildfires, So it's been everything from planting trees here in the North Carolina Appalachia all the way out to, the Sierra Nevadas to, when Houston, got hit with a bunch of really hard hurricanes. There was a lot of flooding, and, it's something that impacts the water quality in the watersheds. So we try to direct projects as well. So it's sustainability has been part of Evolve Golf since the very beginning. The first Epoch was a truly compostable tee made from plants, put it in the ground, goes away in, 4 to 6 months, depending on how hot and wet it is during the summer. Right. And we like to say, we, at the very beginning, our mantra was we make, golf tees that are, better for the golfer, better for the golf course, and better for the planet. And I think, what we do today with Project Goodwoods and our wood tee give back, to the recycling programs we do with Epoch, where we use post-consumer recycled plastics, to the R&D we're still doing into compostable plastics, more to come on that, with agave natural fibers. Cheers to tequila, right?
Viva la tequila.
Dave was in Mexico last week. He had enough of that.
That's it last week.
Mexico, so we have a resort course in Mexico. I won't say who it is, but they challenge us with crazy concepts all the time. Like, we've done dancing sugar skulls. To one point they said, here's a picture of a serape blanket. We want to do serape golf tees. And so our team came up with all these different unique bands and different colorways, so that when you put them all together in a bowl, it looked like a serape blanket. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
I was over on the West Coast in Puerto Vallarta.
Nice. Very nice. You were spoiled rotten.
It usually is.
Yeah. Ben, you guys aren't just a golf tee company. I mean, you may have started as a golf tee company, but you guys have really ventured out. And we're going to get in the golf accessories here in a minute, but can we talk about your motion wool socks and the cool stories that you can do with them?
Sure.
You guys have sent me a couple pairs in the past, and some different looks with logos and things like that on them that are really cool. And it's a unique design that you guys do.
Yeah. So everything, rather than it being embroidered in, the design with the sock is knitted in. So, we can do a lot of dancing repeats and whatnot. But I mean, it was an absolute selfish indulgence, getting into making the motion wool sock. I had done a couch to 5K, and then decided, well, why not run a half marathon? That's next. And started to run when it was cold and wet during the North Carolina winters here on the coast. It's not always 75 here, believe it or not. So it's like these 35, 40-degree rainy days, and I'm out there pounding 7-8 miles, and my feet are just blistered, and I hated it. You get to the point where you have a running mentor when you're going for that kind of a thing, for me at least. And he was like, you really need to try wool socks. Like, you're miserable right now. Try and, I had like these polyester, pick your bag of socks at Costco type thing. Right. And I was like, oh, I got wool socks. So I went and grabbed a pair of, I won't name the golf sock company. It was 100% wool. Went out, ran on them one time, burned a hole through the heel. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is not the experience I was expecting. And so at the same time, we were kind of kicking around some new tee gift ideas in the office. And I just started talking about socks, and what if we did a custom, golf sock, and, could we get you really creative with it? And so we reached out to a bunch of hosiery mills right here in North Carolina. It's a huge community of knitters at the commercial scale. And we started prototyping a sock, and we just set a simple goal. We were like, we want to make the most durable, breathable performance golf sock that's comfortable. Like, that was the simple goal. And I've run that for a half marathon. My brother ran it in the Boston Marathon. Like, it's a great sock. If you can run a marathon in it, you can absolutely loop 18 with it all day long. And so we brought it to the Carolinas PGA. We had done a really unique, sock with, on the heel, we put the 1916 for the founding of the PGA, and we put the PGA Carolinas logo on the toe box. And next thing you know, pros, like a couple months later, just calling us up going, can you do a custom sock for us? We want to, and that's where, like I said, those unique ideas come from. The customers just start challenging you with all sorts of ways, colors, looks. And so that's how we got into motion wool. It was kind of a crazy story.
No, and I love me some, some socks, and I don't have any of yours. I have another company
Fix that.
that does kind of the same motion. They're stance socks.
Great company, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, and I understand. I have run half marathons and marathons before, so I understand where you're coming.
Yep.
From that.
Socks matter.
Socks do matter. They 100% matter. The wrong socks at 10 miles, no bueno. But Steve had mentioned it here, and let's get into this a little bit. And you have clubs using your tees, and you have some add-ons that they can purchase along with the tees that you can also be customized. And you have a variety of lines of divot tools and ball markers, from plastic to metal to wood, that are all fully customizable. Is that going to be a different process than what you're doing from the tees? And are there benefits from one model to the other?
That's an interesting question. So if you just like isolate the divot tool, right? So we wanted to create something that would, help superintendents, right? And I was always the fix the pitch mark with my golf tee kind of guy. So I like a single prong. So that was the first thing. But then the second thing was, how do you get golfers to stop, the gouge, to lift and rip underneath on the roots? And so we came up with this unique design with a thumb pad. So it's super comfortable on your thumb, but it puts your arm in this position where you just go straight down. It's actually if you try to dig with it, it almost falls out of your hand in a weird way. So that was something that we did, on the composite side, which is injection molded, just like our Epoch golf tees. That was more for, the everyday offering, like Aaron Hills gives out thousands of them. They want every guest to have one. If you play the next day, they're going to give you another one. They want you fixing the pitch marks, right? And it became just a big thing for us. But the funny thing is like when you're a tea company, right, and you're just trying to get yourself going, and customers start sending you purchase orders for divot tools and ball markers that you don't even make. That's how we ended up into the composite ball markers and divot tools. It was the customers told us that we needed to do it because they were sending us orders. We didn't even make something yet. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever experienced. And as we went through each, year with the club, where it was like, okay, can we do this with our custom tees? Okay, yes. Well, we've got this member guest tournament coming up. We want to do this unique design. Each year they would challenge us, and that started to happen with the repair tool. So we would do like the standard traditional pouch, right? 10 tees with a logo, a ball marker, and a divot tool. Every one of us has gotten at least 100 of those, right?
Yep.
Then it was, we really think we want to do, a metal ball marker and divot tool next year. Can you do that? And that's when we were just starting to kick around this concept of custom works in our office, that we wanted to there was this, we were in this 1910 old bakery building. There was just this awesome 1,700 square foot space that became available. And we took an option on it, and we were like, okay, let's just make this a maker space. So we put a 3D printer in there. We put a press, an anvil, a digital printer, and we put some woodworking equipment in there. I think we got a table saw, a bandsaw. It was one of the things we put into that original space, right? And so we just started working up concepts. Like the first divot tool we did was nuts. We 3D printed the shape of our P1RX repair tool, but then we sand casted it, melted down a bunch of bronze, and did a bronze pour with the local artist. Like that was like, okay, we're getting a little too, artsy here. No one's going to buy a $40, divot tool. What are we doing? Right. So then it was like, okay, let's just start hitting things on the anvil. And that's when the hand forged side of the business came together in 2014 for us. And so that's kind of the way things happen. We talk about ideas and we try to work up unique things just within that accessory space. And so come full circle to today. I mean, when people ask us, well, how are you guys in all of these things? Well, we explain, well, custom works is fiber works, wood works, foundry works, leather works, and print works. That's who we are. And so we go from tees to tea gifts. That's our lane. Like, we're not making towels, we're not making gloves. We try to be really good at unique accessories. And that's the ball game for us right now.
Well, and speaking of that, like I'm looking at your website here, and like unique accessories here at the tavern, we can always get by a divot tool that has a bottle opener in it, because we've all been on the golf course, and you have a beverage, and you're like, I got to do the old like tap it on the edge of the cart to pop it open, and that works sometimes. So having that, like the foundry and like something like that, makes it. We love that customization and that kind of attention to detail that you think about, that a lot of people wouldn't think about having that on the golf course, but you put it on something that we have in our pocket all the time on the golf course. That's
we've
awesome.
never brought alcohol onto the golf course that we would need a bottle opener for. We've always got it from a cart girl.
Yeah, they just didn't take. They just didn't pop. That's all it was. That's all it was. I didn't say I brought my own. Dave's self-incriminating himself over there.
He is, isn't he?
I plead the fifth.
But I love that you have those different and that customization, because we love a good customization here, and like having that, like just thinking of those little things. And I like that you're looking at it like, oh, what can we do next? What can we do here? What can we do to add this here? And it's some fun stuff that you have there.
Oh, we appreciate it. We have a ton of fun with it. We really do. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're all incredibly fortunate to work in golf, and it's a fun environment. And you just to have that level of creativity. We've got an awesome team. We really do. We've got a bunch of designers, and every day it's just some new concept. And there's a lot of no's. We definitely get to a place where like, that's not us. Let's just stop right there.
But you were talking about, everybody's gotten that, 10-pack of tees and the divot tool and the ball marker, but you really do some, tournament gifting options as well too, that can also be customized. You're talking about member guest earlier. Can you talk a little bit more about the gifting, and what if the tournament's on a budget? Do you have some parameters you can work with them within their what they're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, we can do something as little as $5 per person. That's highly custom. Epoch golf tees, the Sweet Marks, the composite repair tool, the P1RX repair tool. And the Sweet Marks ball marker. And then a little box with a logo on it, and that's always been a hit. But yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit on budget. I mean, we just recently did a very gorgeous black walnut, the credenza piece. Inside of it, you flipped it open, there were 2 sleeves of Pro V1s with the course's logo. There was a pair of motion wool socks. There was a hand forged bag tag. It was a really, really classy piece. And we just got an order for 120. This is the craziest thing we'll have done out of woodworks. We're going to do 120 custom humidors. So that's
yes, please. Yes, please.
Did I hear 123?
Yes. There may be an overrun. There could be some oops.
I can send you our logo if you need it.
Done and done.
So Ben, before we let you go, I do have to say all 3 of us actually have some tees of yours from a club that we all really love, from Colleton River, in our golf bag right now. One of our favorite spots. And I think we've got the 1-prong divot tool as well in our bags. I know I have one in my bag.
I do not.
You don't? Oh, no, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yep.
But before I let you go, last year, you guys did some custom tees leading up to this golf tournament in April,
right,
at a golf club in Augusta that we all know about. And I just need to know, are you going to do that run again this year? Because I'm going to need some of those golden belties in my bag is what I'm going to need. So I just need to know, are you going to do that run again?
I'm going to have to dig some out of my bag, because our team will absolutely crush us if we run it up. Would you believe our digital presses that we use for that are sold out through June, despite our adding twice as many for this new year?
Really?
Wow.
The custom business has just been ridiculous. We're really fortunate to be on the run.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we're super disappointed, because this year we haven't been able to do a single small batch like that, and that was one of the more creative ones we've done in a while. I'm a big fan of Azalea, but Golden Bell's pretty solid too.
Yeah. I got lucky enough. A couple weeks ago, I caddied the Wednesday at Bay Hill, and we had a member in our group, and I asked him, I said, "What's your favorite hole?" And all he said was 12's really special, and that's all. And I'm like, "Yeah, I 100% agree with you." No.
That's awesome.
Well, Ben, thank you for joining us tonight. Hope we didn't keep you from the family. I know it's a little late, so I appreciate you coming on and joining us, talking about some golf tees and different things. So thank you, and I look forward. We will be in touch soon. How's that sound?
Cheers, guys. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
It's amazing how something as simple as a golf tee, you can put that much attention to detail in, and it can affect, and as he put it, it's not enhancing your game, but it's giving you back what could be taken away from your game.
Correct.
Exactly.
Like that attention to detail.
I need all the enhancement I can get.
Not enhancement. You just need anything you can get on there. So it's, we get it.
Yeah.
Is it that time?
It's that time.
I'd say it's that time. I like this one.
Yeah. I always appreciate when the smack of the week is a true smack, if that makes sense. I
love the end of this video.
My favorite part actually of this is, and I'm just going to say the launch monitor giving the
That's
distance
good too.
Is the best part of this. So let's roll this really quickly here.
Carry is 36.6 yards.
And
Yeah.
camera off.
Why do I feel like if
That
Dave
would be
had
me.
If Dave had a simulator in his house, that would happen?
Because I feel like that looks like it would be in like Dave's winery. Like he just set that up and be like, and that would be the first swing. That would be the first swing. Like,
yes.
You would just like, it'd be fine after that, but that would be the first swing in there, and it would be hilarious. But yeah. The yard was only like 63 yards. That was even funny.
No, it's 36.6 yards.
36.6.
Yeah.
I just love how he like crawls and like, gotta turn off the camera.
Oh,
right.
That's amazing.
Scottie.
Yay!
Scottie does know.
Yes. 2 weeks in a row.
Knows how to play golf.
Now, I tell you what, it's you got to give whatever masseuse that Scottie found there at TPC to work on his neck. Props to them for getting him through.
They deserved a really good bonus this week.
Yeah.
From Scottie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
You saw that thick KT tape on there, and
yeah.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room and the putt on 18.
The jailbreak finally broke down. The putter that since the U.S. Open last year has been the hottest putter on the market.
And here's the thing: Scottie missed his putt on 18. He could have been at 21 easily.
Yeah,
that ball kicked the wrong way, and he missed the putt.
I was standing right next to the hostess stand at the ale house on 192.
Classy
ale house. Yep. And I have never it had a fire. It was the first one with the fireplace. I have never heard so many people, and it wasn't on very many TVs. There was a lot of college basketball on, and I've never heard so many people scream in a restaurant when that putt horseshoed out after it was 3/4 of the way in the hole. And literally, like, everyone that wasn't watching it was looking around like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And some guy's wife who watched it and screamed, literally the wife turns around and looks at me and she goes, "What just happened?" And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm going to have nightmares after watching that. Like, it was like, I felt bad for Wyndham Clark because I feel like if it goes down, at least we've got a playoff chance.
But he had one of the best interviews after, and he's just like, talking about the girl that's battling leukemia, and he's like, look, I try and win golf tournaments. She's fighting for her life. I'll live to play another day. She's fighting for her life. Yeah. And, it's 2 weeks in a row. Scottie wins 2 weeks in a row. Wyndham finished second 2 weeks in a row. It's a tough bullet to bite, but there's a lot of people out there that would love to be in his shoes.
Here's the thing with Wyndham. First off, I feel like nobody really knew who Wyndham Clark was until he won the U.S. Open. And now, I mean, if you follow golf, you did. But if you didn't follow, if you were the casual fan, you didn't really know who Wyndham Clark was.
You do now.
You do now. And I feel like Full Swing Season 2 really shed a lot of light into Wyndham Clark and demons. And how he overcomes them. And I'm going to say this, if you can't root for that guy to win, you really have some issues, because like I sat there and wanted him to, again, the dude just performs in big time stages now.
Yeah.
Where he really, I mean,
look at how he's performed for the last 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks. He has been in the running, and like not for like top 10, for winning. Like he has been
winning. Yeah.
In the running for this. Like I'm almost looking at this, and Steve, you and I talked today about like what Scottie's like and the publicity he's getting for this. I'm almost at the point where I kind of want to see Scottie and Wyndham become Phil versus Tiger, like that sort of thing moving forward. Like, because I think those two could be a great. Because they're playing so well. They don't have the personality for it.
No, they don't. Like neither of them have the villain. Neither of them have the villain mentality. Where I think, and I'll say this: if Patrick Cantley was involved, I'd say yes, that can happen, because I feel like Patrick doesn't mind being the villain. He doesn't mind being the bad guy.
Yeah. But I don't want the villain. I just want these two top golfers.
But you need to have somebody with a 180-degree opposite personality. And Wyndham and Scottie are two of what seem to be the nicest guys in the planet that happen to be really freaking good at what they do. I mean, Scottie Scheffler's stats are stupidly good. Like they are Tiger Woods.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And for people to look at what he's done, and when you look at what, like, I think his last 35 starts, he's had three finishes outside the top 15. What? Like, those are Tiger numbers. Like, he's 21 top 10s in his last 35 starts. What? Like, I mean, yeah.
Considering that one of us has picked him almost every week that he's played at the American Express, he was outside the top 15 at the American Express.
Right. I mean, here's the deal. Scottie's about to become he's about to become one of us and a golfing dad. Meredith's pregnant. We know that now.
Yeah.
And of course now, I mean, I guess the nursery is going to be a little nicer with that players win. But I'm going to say this
in there now.
Yeah, 2 other trophies in the nursery now. First player to win the Players back-to-back in 50 years. The 50 years that the Players has been around, he's the first player to win and to defend his title. And when you think about that golf course, and when you think about just how difficult they set that golf course,
at that golf course.
Yeah,
43 years at that golf course. But even Jack won the first Players, and it's taken
even Tiger never defended.
Correct. No. Even Tiger, when you think about it, Tiger's prime, never defended the Players title. In the best finish, by the way, they showed a stat on Saturday, I think it was, I saw. The best finish by a defending champ was T5.
Yeah.
T5. So we're not talking about a guy that won it one year and then finished runner-up the next. That golf course, they figure out, and it's one of the things that they have figured out how to set that golf course up to kind of proof. We talked about Augusta Tiger proofing the golf course for Tiger so that he didn't win like he did running away in 97. But when you look at what they've done at Sawgrass, they have figured out how to proof that golf course for every player. And you look at over the course of history, and yes, there have been a couple outliers in winning there, but all in all, it tends to be major champion winners that win at TPC Sawgrass. I mean, you have your
golf.
The Craig Perks one-off story. You have the year Fred Funk won at like +4 or whatever it was because the weather was awful. But all in all, when you look at the past champions there, it's a bunch of guys that win majors.
Yeah, it's a true test of golf. And it's something that, like you said, in 50 years, it took 50 years for someone to win it back to back. That's impressive. Yep. Like, look at every other tournament that's out there. There's back to back winners a lot of the time, even recently in a lot of tournaments.
Tiger won a tournament 5 years in a row or something ridiculous. Like, I mean,
yeah, like that's but not the players. And also, Scottie's the first person to win Bay Hill and then win the Players the next week since Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing that. And Steve, we talked this today. He's becoming that Tiger-esque person, but I don't want to compare him to Tiger yet because Tiger has his legacy now. You just have to compare him to Tiger when he was at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it continues. I'm hoping like he has to be at number one for 11 years. 11 years to go on Tiger's run.
I don't think that anyone, and it's hard for me to say this because everyone has always said, oh, there'll never be another Jordan or there'll never be another Dr. J or there'll never be another Mickey Mantle or Ted Williams or any of those guys. I don't ever want to say there'll never be another Tiger Woods because that's a really hard statement to say. But I mean, do I think that, and I have felt for quite some time that number one player in the world position has been a position where a lot of guys have wanted to get there, but they don't want to stay there. They just want hey, I made it to number one in the world. I don't know that Scottie just cares and is just like, I just want to win every week and I don't really care. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna play the best golf I can possibly play.
That's a better mentality.
And
it's a better,
wherever it ends me up, it ends me up. And when you think about the fact that one point over the course of the last 18 months, Scottie Scheffler was more likely to miss a 4-footer than he was a fairway. I'm sorry, a green.
Yeah.
A green.
Yeah.
He was hitting 80% of his greens, and he was at he said 81% of his greens, and he was making 4-footers at 80%.
Yeah. Like
when you think about that stat, you're more
crazy.
likely to miss a 4-footer than a green. I mean, just go ahead and open up your bank account.
That's the thing about Scottie is that he wants to just win. He wants to play the best he can. He doesn't care about the number one ranking, and that's going to make you better. Like, you're not worried about that. You're not worried about holding on to it. Yeah. Like, well, Tiger didn't care. Tiger knew he was number one. Like, so Tiger just went out and played and proved it. And that's what Scottie's doing. I feel like that we've had this cycle of number one players that have changed, and it's been based on like major wins each year. And it's no one, like Steve says, they want to hold on to it, but they can't because they're too worried about holding on to it, or other stuff is going on that's becoming a factor outside of it. Where Scottie plays golf to play golf, and to be honest, I think he's going to be a great dad, and I don't think that's going to affect his golf game because I think he's going to attack being a dad the same way he attacks playing golf, and he just wants to be the best at that, and he's going to be the best at both, and he doesn't let one thing impact the other.
Right.
So
now we'll see. I mean,
that's a winner's mentality.
You've seen what's happened to players. I mean, I don't want to say that having kids has caused Jordan to not be the Jordan Spieth of old, but we've seen players fall off after children.
You ask any dad out there, anyone, they're choosing being a dad over.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
correct.
So we'll all say that. So
but I mean, Scottie's also won $40-something million over the last 18 months. Like, I don't think Scottie's worried about it. And you know, it was funny. His press conference this week, he did have the best comment this week when asked about the separation in the game of golf, and he said, "Why are you asking us? They all left. Go ask the people that left." Yeah, and he's not wrong.
Come back. Why do they want to come back so much?
Why is all of this? Well, they should be playing Why are all of the questions about why they should be playing PGA Tour events? after leaving. That's what I want.
You know why they left? You know why they left? Because they were afraid of Scottie. That's why they left.
Somebody pointed out today, and I need to do some more homework, and I didn't have time to do it today, that they're saying that Scottie's run all happened after everybody left to go to live.
No, Scotty's the reason Koepka started falling apart. Then he got his game back together going over to live, and now he's back in a better mental state.
But because Koepka was also hurt. Like Koepka was also hurt. Like
Scottie started
battled some injuries.
But Scottie started winning at that point. That's my point. Is that before live, Scottie was starting to win, and he was up and coming at that point. So this was already written before you all left for live. So, all right, Dave, let's go into next week.
I did miss that last week.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah. Then not to open a Pandora's box and on Steve here, but is it Scottie as much winning the tournament as Xander losing that tournament?
I don't know that Xander lost that tournament. I'd almost say Wyndham lost that tournament because Wyndham shouldn't have been in that position. I mean, the dude blew the golf course away for 2 straight days and then didn't play as well over the weekend. Again, you got to play 72 holes. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And at the end of the 72 holes, like it's not like Xander stood up on the 18th tee, tied or won back and hooked one into the water.
Yep. Well, and your marathon versus a sprint comment is perfect because Wyndham went out sprinting and Scottie took his time and
the
got
5K.
So yeah. All right.
So speaking of the reason I bring that up is because Xander leads the way this week at Valspar. You know, it's a really good field. Here at Valspar, there's some guys taking Scottie's not in it this week, taking some time off. But Xander's coming in at 6.5, Sam Burns at 12, JT at 14, Jordan at 18, Brian Harmon at 20, Cam Young at 22. Right there.
I'm going to make this really easy.
Our personal standings right now, Greg and Steve both missed the cut last week.
Back on my miscut streak.
So Greg is sitting at a whopping 41 points. Steve is at 50. Not yet.
At this pace, I thought you were going to say 4.
Yeah, Steve is at 52, and I am at 83.
Damn, you're just running away with it, man.
We have some international. Hey.
So Steve, because you had Jordan Spieth, who had the worst of the 2 scores on the miscut, you get first pick this week.
No, Dave, you won. You get first pick.
Oh, that's right. I win. I get first pick.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna take somebody that was in contention this week at the Players. He's the champion golfer of the year. I'm going with Brian Harmon.
Nice.
I'm going to go with the guy that's finished runner-up the last 2 years at Valspar. And I'm going to let the Orlando golfer make my pick. Thanks, homie.
Yeah.
There's my pick.
And for you, Greg, who's going to miss the cut this week?
Justin Thomas.
All right. No.
He can't. He picked him last week.
Yeah.
No. Since with my miscut theory going on here, and you're probably going to miss it. You were a gracious person when you missed the Ryder Cup.
Ooh, Keegan Bradley.
I'm taking Keegan Bradley.
Keegan at 35.
I believe in you, Keegan. This is going to be your week, and this is your start to making the next Ryder Cup at Bethpage. This is where it starts, boys.
That's a good pick.
All right. Good pick.
Good pick.
Good pick.
He's tied with somebody else you've missed a cut with at Sepp Straka at 35-1.
I'm glad that you know what.
I've also won with Sepp too. So
Yes, you have.
Yeah, but I'm glad he joined the Sepp miscut parade that you and I were on last year for a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
that broke my that broke my streak and really took me on a downward spiral. But I got Scottie at Bay Hill, and Dave got him last week. That's why we can't pick him 2 weeks in a row. Otherwise, I would have just kept winning with Scottie because I think that would have just been the way to go. But I couldn't pick him this week. So
Yeah. Well, and he's not playing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's no you can't.
I feel like he wins even if he doesn't show up. I mean, let's be real. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, he's like Bo. Bo knows. Scottie knows.
Yeah.
So,
But as
Right.
a final going away here, just really quick, we all saw the Masters dinner spread that came out from John Rahm here. Any thoughts?
I wish I had a seat at the table. It sounds really freaking good.
Yeah.
It does sound good. It's
Yeah.
also it also I think is going to be a very interesting table this year.
Yeah.
Rahm had some comments today. Did you catch those?
I did not.
Did not.
He says that he thinks that the live golfers are not going to be welcomed at the Masters.
That is a point of topic for another day because we were talking about food.
Right, because I do not want to
No.
walk down that rabbit hole right now.
No.
But
I
that
think
was
that's a topic in a
that
few
was
weeks.
Rahm's. Yeah, I feel like we have to wait till Masters week.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe go down that road. And obviously, there's been some other golf news that's gone on in the last 24 hours with a meeting in the Bahamas at, I'm guessing, Albany, because I'm sure that Tiger's
Business is done on the golf course.
Business
Yep.
is done on the golf course. Didn't want to talk about it tonight because there's nothing to report on it. So while we could sit here and speculate, we're not going to speculate on that. So until more to come on that, there'll be more to come on that. So
With that, cheers,
Ladies and
everybody.
gentlemen, it was good to be back this
Cheers,
week.
everybody.
Missed you guys. Cheers.
hola, ¿cómo está?
Muy bien.
We talk about growing the game and doing some different things. And I want to bring Craig from California.